Hi there, my name is Connie and I feel like I've come to some sort of revelation, if you will. I feel like I've kind of reached a point of mental clarity and mental confidence, or physical confidence, any sort of confidence, and respect for myself that I have never, ever seen before. Like, in my life, have I ever seen a perspective like this? So I just kind of wanted to share. I just hope you take something away from this because these are the things I wish I knew. So I hope that this can reach the people it needs to reach. I want to explain all this stuff with logic. I feel like a lot of people talk about achieving things and manifestation and all that jazz, like the mental mindset. There's a lot of different aspects to it and there's a lot of different things people say, but I think these are the three main points, these three main controls and factors that help me realise like it's possible to go where you want to go, wherever it is you want to go. So yeah, I hope this can bring you some of that, some clarity, some insight. Even if you just take one thing away from this, even if I just help one person, that is all I want. That is all I'm doing this for. I hope I explain it well. My first point I wanted to bring up was, as I've been alone with my thoughts recently, I've really come to the understanding of the profound impact that thoughts have on your entire life. So everything comes from a thought. Literally every concept, every invention, every conversation, every experience you have that isn't just to do like with nature, it all stems from a thought. Thoughts are the beginning to everything. So this is the beginning to what you desire and where you want to go. Thoughts are where it starts. And you have no control over anyone's thoughts but your own. So everyone's thoughts create the world around us and create all the experiences, but you have the same power as everyone else. As literally everyone else. Your thoughts create, okay? You have so much more ability than you realise. I promise you that. I promise you're not as stuck as you think. So let me lay this spectrum out for you, okay? So thoughts turn into feelings, feelings turn into, they impact your actions. Actions, when repeated, become habits. That affects your mood, that affects your personality, and that's your life. So your thoughts are the stem of your life, okay? Even when you're alone, thoughts have impact on your future decisions you make. So just stay aware, really, is the point I'm trying to make. Even if you're just sitting by yourself and you think, oh, well, you know, I can be miserable because it's just stuck with me, but that is controlling your attitude. Repetition of them thoughts over and over and over again is what makes you you, alone or not. I feel like there's another level above instinct, okay? So all animals run off instinct. We're the only animals with consciousness, with this ability to control what we think. And if any other animal, like fish swim, birds fly, if any of them would dominate us, they'd be at the top of the food chain. They'd be the one controlling the whole world. So why don't you think you have any sort of power? We were put here and our power is our thoughts. Thoughts are a gift. Our consciousness is a gift. Our ability to create things is a gift. Every single thing you want came from a thought. Everything. If there's a certain like occupation you want, or if there's a certain physical thing, or person you want to meet, a thing you want to do, that came from someone that has the exact same power that you do. So I feel like we take that for granted. So I just really wanted to really run that point home, because that was one thing that, like, once you become aware of that and you become aware of the absolute power that you have, we wouldn't be dominant for a reason. And you got to think, all of the stuff around us, which everyone else created, that's going to give you a boost. Use everything you have, because you are so much more blessed than you think you are. I promise you. If you're watching this from a phone or anything, you have something in your hand which you can access anything to. You can access anything, okay? If someone else has done it, you can do it because you have the exact same abilities that they have. So what we have is a gift. Consciousness, creation, imagination, everything. That is an absolute gift that I think everyone takes for granted. Everyone. Because you just run kind of on like autopilot. You kind of run the same way you've been running forever. You know, I feel like birds probably don't realise how important it is for them to fly. They don't think, oh my god, this is sick, you know, I'm going to use this for the greater good. But we have the ability to realise. We have the ability to do what we want. Like, nothing came from nothing. Like, it didn't just come out the ground. It came from in here, which we all have. So use it, practice it, study. I love good study, just try and expand it. That's how you grow. It's not about... You grow in the physical when you grow in the mental. That's when everything around you starts to change, because you're growing in your head first. you're recognizing the opportunities you have around you. I think people's lives take a turn for the worst, not by the situations they're put in, but by how they react to these situations. I'm not discrediting anything insanely negative, trust me, I know how hard it is. It's just by the thoughts that you let consume you over and over again. You know, the thoughts that you let like swirl around in your head again and again and again. It's the repetition of those thoughts that's what makes you you. You just don't need to obsess over every single thought you have. You have no sort of control over anyone but yourself, and you're the only one that's stuck with them. So especially when you're alone, you shouldn't be letting them run wild. You shouldn't be not recognizing your ability to have control even when you're alone. More importantly, when you're alone, because you have no external influence. So that is who you are. That is what you're feeding yourself again and again and again and again and again. Yeah, to stay mindful. I really want to explain this all with logic, because that is an undeniable fact that everything stems from a thought. I feel like sometimes it's very hard to grasp these concepts until you get it ABC'd for you. Just pay attention to what you're telling yourself. If you're telling yourself you're the person that you don't want to be, but if you say it again and again and again, you're just reaffirming, you're just creating. As I said, that is what we do. Unconsciously, our purpose is creation. Just listen to what you tell yourself again and again. Pay attention. I believe that we have 3 options when it comes to using our thoughts to positively impact our lives or just bring it to your awareness. I think we have perspective, belief, and just float by. I didn't know what to call that last one, so I just said float by. But perspective is more for things that are like fixed in the physical, like that you don't have much control over. So say a situation that's already happened, you know, you can't go back. So with perspective, it's just the lens in which you see it through. If you can find anything positive from the situation, I advise you to do that. It can't be negative without positive. If you can take anything away from a point, which can get you closer to the person you want to be and where you want to become, take it. No matter how crap the situation is, if you dig deep enough, there will be something in there that you can use to propel yourself. Because if you're stuck with this negative perception, like I said, you're the only person stuck with it, so it's only going to have a huge impact on you. Even if you push it onto other people, expressing this negativity physically, that's just how they're going to see you. That's the only impact that's going to have is on you. They're just going to see you as negative. You're just giving off this negative person. People care, obviously. What I'm saying is all of this negativity is going to be onto you. Onto you, no matter if it is about another person, it's you it's impacting. You're the one thinking it. Even if it is someone else has done something crazy, you're the only one stuck with this perspective. So flip it. Most people don't realise, you know, the impact that just even the lens you have through the world, it impacts your entire experience. 2 people could go through the exact same like situation. They could be in the exact same room doing the exact same thing, but they are thinking different. They're seeing a situation different. Some people might be noticing opportunities that they can get. Other people might just be dwelling on the negative. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's only going to affect you. It's only going to affect you. So genuinely, if you want to help yourself, you need to have a new outlook on every situation, Like, it's okay to think these things. Don't let it repeat. That is what it is that makes you who you are. The second one is belief. Belief is best used for something that could be changing the physical, or best used for, you know, like that little voice in your head that tells you you're just not good enough. You know, you're not doing well. Anything opinion-based, I think belief is best for that one. Or just something that you can attain, but you are telling yourself you can't. Flip what you're saying. Just flip what you're saying to exactly what you want it to be. Okay, even if you don't believe it at first, but it will go through that journey, what I was talking about earlier, from the thought to the physical, a lot quicker than you think. That it makes it truth, and then better, that's your reality, and that's your life. That's how like the manifestation affirmations work. But I feel like some people talk about it like it's some sort of like magic. Like, I'm a bit spiritual, but affirmations aren't something that needs to be so taboo and like, you know, seen as impossible or pointless, because everything you've created in your life already has stemmed from a thought. So why wouldn't you make it just the thoughts you want it to be? You know, like, I promise you, if you saw me a few years ago, even a few months ago, if you saw me then and you see how I'm doing now, you'll believe me. Like, you'll believe me. It's not even something to believe, it is just what it is. Thoughts are the creation to everything is a profound fact. It is a literal fact. Be aware of what you're thinking. I've got a weird analogy for this one, but this is the only thing I could like think of to be like a proper example. But I used to touch my face all the time, like so bad. And now I'm saying that I'm literally like, you know, anyway. I don't know if it was like a habit, I don't know if it was just like a stress thing or if comfort, I don't know. Anyway, I'd touch my face and then I'd break out. And obviously I go to the gym as well, so they're just dirty, like the equipment, like it's not dirty equipment. Yeah, you get a bit sweaty, touching like the steel bars that everyone else has touched. And I just touch my face, and it'd make me break out. And I look in the mirror and I go, Connie, like, stop doing that. Why do you do that? Like, you need to stop doing that. I touch it again and I'd go, Connie, stop touching your face. And then one day I flipped my belief and I just went, I don't do that. You know, that's not part of my identity anymore. Because how else do you think you're going to change your identity if you don't first start it with a thought of what you want to become? When I kept saying to myself, stop touching your face, that's making my identity as still someone that does that. I wanted to be someone that didn't do that. So I tell myself, I don't touch my face. I started doing that. I'd go, I don't do that. I'd look in the mirror and I'd look at, you know, the spots on my face. I used to go, oh, Connie, like, you need to sort this out. You need to stop. And I stepped in and I went, oh, my skin is glowing. Oh my God. Look in the mirror, I go, whoa, who is that with that incredibly clear skin? Because she don't touch her face. You know, and then eventually that actually did become who I was. Even if I was in the middle of doing it, I'd stop and I'd say, I don't do that, that's not me. I stopped moaning about it, I stopped saying, Connie, stop doing it. I just flipped it around, and now guess what? Skin is glowing, you know. That's the only like proper example I can think, but it's the same with anything, even huge things. This is how it becomes in the world, because once you tell yourself, that's who you are, that's what you create, because that's what we do. It's just about bringing it to your awareness and becoming aware of the control you do have over situations, instead of just feeling like you're stuck in something you don't have to be stuck in. Don't spend your life trying to control others before you control yourself. Control yourself first. You're the only person that you have full control over. Sometimes you might not feel like that, and sometimes you might think other external factors impact the way you are, and that is vaguely true in a sense of it programs you, but you have the ability to change that. You know, you have just as much power as anyone else, so why would you give anyone else that power? Then they don't want for you what you want for yourself, and why is that going to make you happy? It's not. The only thing that's going to make you happy is what you want to do. So just stop giving other people that control. Really become aware of the person you are and the control that you have. So rewire your mindset. The mind moves faster than the body, obviously, but the body does catch up, I can assure you. It catches up all the same. So you might become a bit frustrated because you've been doing it for like, I don't know, a week, or depending on what it is, it can even be ages. I understand the frustration, but obviously the mind's gonna move quicker than the body. If we created like that, it would be ridiculous. That wouldn't even make sense. If you changed your mind, you'd just be all over the place instantaneously. So things just take time. It's the same as planting a seed. The seeds are all the same. It doesn't matter what you plant, it's still gonna grow. You can plant something positive or negative, it's going to grow all the same. If you let someone else plant a seed in there, it's going to grow all the same. So I think a belief and that first initial thought, the best analogy I've got is it is like a seed. You've got to think as well, like, have you ever planted a plant and you look in the pot and it's just a pot of dirt, you know, it's just a pot of dirt, and you go, oh, well, it's just a pot of dirt. You know, you don't really understand the true potential until it's just there, and then one day it's there. And even though it might have been a long time that's passed, because, you know, if you're building something bigger like a huge tree, it can take years. If you're trying to change something huge in yourself, it can take time, but one day it's just there, and you're like, why did I grow frustrated at the times before when I was looking at that pot of dirt and going, well, I've just got a pot of dirt? You can make something of yourself because you've done it already. So unconsciously, you've done it already. That's the only thing that we do different from the rest of the earth. Why do you think that you have the things you do? Like, why do you think you've even got these desires? You might want a certain occupation. We made that occupation. Why do you think that you can't do it? Okay? If you want a certain like degree, or you go, oh, well, I don't have this education, or I don't have this, I don't have that. That came from somewhere. That didn't just pop out of nowhere. You have the same ability as anyone. I know you know that there are people out there that there's something that you desire, and you find someone that's got that desire, and you go, well, I could do that. I could do better. Do it then. Do it. Like, do it. You're just as capable as them. If the only thing that's like differentiating both of you is your belief in your ability, it's nothing else. You think, oh, they're less talented than me and they've still got far. How did they get this far? It's because they actually applied themselves, and it's because they actually had that belief in themselves that they were capable of it. So yeah, just stay aware. Just stay aware. Like, that's my main kind of point, is just stay aware. Like, just stay aware. I feel like there's another level of consciousness, and that's like being aware of your thoughts. There's thoughts, and then there's like thinking about those thoughts and like going, how is this impacting my life? Because where do you think everything comes from? Once you realize, I'm hammering this home, once you realize that you have the key, you know how people say, oh, happiness comes from within. You really don't realize until one day you just do, and you go, oh my God, yeah, it does. It does. Where do you think everything that you think brings you happiness, even all money, everything, comes from? An idea, which you have. And the last one of the 3 points I made is float by. So this is what the act of meditating is for. Again, I feel like some people don't really understand the point of it, so I really want to explain it logically. It's just letting go. It's like the analogy I used with the plant. It's like you have the seed, you have this idea that you don't want. You're just not nurturing it, you're not letting it grow, you're just letting it float by. You become aware, you go, okay, this is what I'm thinking, I'm not going to act on it, I'm not going to let it control me, I'm not going to repeat it to myself again and again and again, because what is that achieving? What is that achieving? You might believe it, you might think in your head this thought and you go, oh, well, this is what it is. It's like the only thing it's doing is negatively impacting you. Why? Like, why? There's no need. There's just no need. I really hope none of this comes across as rude, but I feel like I wish someone told me it exactly how I'm saying it right now, because I understand. Obviously, I've been there. Like, I understand. Sometimes it just feels impossible, and sometimes it's like, when you really have been hardwired that way, and you go, well, I am just this, or I can't do this, or this person thinks it. I promise you, if you let it go, if you change your perspective, or if you change your belief, in every single thought you have, you can redirect these thoughts to the person you want to become. You have the power. Every single thought. Don't analyze everything, but anything you become aware of, go, how can I make this positively impact me? Because you have the power to do so. So just let these thoughts go with like grace, no repercussion. Don't beat yourself up over it. Don't push it or pull it one way. Not every thought needs analysing. Not every thought needs nurturing. Be careful of what you're planting. Be careful of what you're growing. If we dissected and became stuck over every single thought we had in our life, and we just repeated it to ourselves over and over and over again, and it was not serving us good, we would become physically exhausted. Physically exhausted. Some days you have you can run for miles, and other days you just can't even move. The only thing that is differentiating them days, unless you have something physical going on, the only thing that differentiates them days is the way you're thinking, which you have more control over than you think. The way people get to where they want to go is they redirect it. They pay attention to what they're giving their all. They don't give their all to the things that just don't need it. Just let it go. I like to give myself 20 minutes, half an hour in the morning to think about these things. I don't think about, focus on the negative, but I just try to be aware, and I go, what am I thinking about? What am I thinking about? And if it is negative, like I said, flip it, believe, or I just go, okay, I've done it now, I've thought about it now, and if it ever pops into my head, there were times of the day I went, okay, I've thought about that, okay, just go, okay. Sometimes you have to say it to yourself. Treat yourself like someone you'd take care of. Treat yourself like someone you really, really care about. Because when I say another level, basically, if you're focusing on something, it's like saying it aloud. It's like saying it to someone. You wouldn't do that. Even if you thought it, you wouldn't say that. So just keep it at that level that is just not nurturing, not repeating, not impacting your life. You could drain yourself without physical exertion. And I feel like it's hard to understand that concept, and then you just think there's something wrong with you, and because it develops into mental health issues. You just think that, how are all these other people doing this and I can't do this, but I promise you can. And I'm not disregarding serious mental health issues and the impact those have. I'm just saying, once you gain this level of awareness, you have more control than you think. Be aware of what you're planting. I love the analogy of the mind as a garden, because I feel like once you realise it, it's such a beautiful thing, because when it translates into the physical, you can physically look around at your life and just know that you did that. You did that. Everyone has their own garden to plant. And to plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. I love that quote. To plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. Even if you're sitting there thinking, because where I said the mind moves faster than the body, if you're sitting there thinking, oh, this is a bit pointless, flipping it and really trying to control it, because sometimes it can be a bit like, oh, I don't care. If you have that belief in tomorrow, then you have that belief that something can change. That belief that you are in control, and you are in control. So much more than you think. So much more than you think. The next point I have is there's no such thing as negative or positive. I know I've been talking about negative and positive, but this links to perception. So everything on this earth just is. It just is what it is. So the only real negative and positives are just the attitudes you have. Okay? It's just the stance you have on a particular situation. Negative and positive is a state of mind. Everything is just what it is. It's just how you view it. If negative and positive was a real thing, every single person would have the exact same desires, dreams, goals, definition of happiness, because there'd be a positive. There'd be a negative and a positive. But what might be positive for you might be someone else's like worst nightmare. So there's actually no such thing in the actual world. All it is just your reaction. It's what you let stick with you, because everything just is. It's how we're conditioned to feel. Positivity and negativity isn't universal law. Universal laws are things that came here before we did. Universal laws are the things that came here before the world did. The universal laws are the way the world runs. And positivity and negativity is not a universal law. I'm not disregarding extremely negative situations, as I said, but I'm just saying you have the choice to react with faith or to react with fear. You know? And sometimes that faith is hard to find, and I know that faith can be hard to find, but if you want to carry on this journey, you're gonna have to find it. You really are gonna have to find it, and I promise you, every step of the way you can. Some things might be tougher than others, but I promise you, you can. That's how people carry on. That's how people get to these insane points that you want to be. It's because they've reacted with faith in themselves and in the situation around them, and in the fact that there is goodness. Say I flipped a coin on the table, positive, negative side. I'd show you and I go, look, the positive's right there. And you might turn to me and go, well, the negative's still there, but it's underneath, okay? So it's what you're looking at that counts. That's what makes your experience. That's what makes life your life. It's just the way you flip it. You can physically tell me it's there, because it is there. There is a point of perception where you can look at it negatively, but even vice versa, there can be something crazy positive. There's always a negative side. There's always a negative side. It's just the way you look at it. So like I said, right, we've got no control over what other people do, but we do have a control over the way we react. And that's what matters. That's what matters. That's what makes you you. That's what makes your experiences your experiences. This whole life is a journey, okay? This whole life is a navigation to where you want to go. And if you actually sit there and realise the thoughts that you're having, you can navigate this. You can navigate this. You are in control. You are. There's nothing you can do about other people. Nothing. There's nothing you can do about the way they think you. There's nothing you can do about what they do. There's no point in worrying. There's no point in worrying. If you react negatively or positively, this will impact all the future decisions you make, alone or not. And it will hinder you to recognise opportunities that are right in front of you, because there are opportunities everywhere. There are opportunities every single day. There are opportunities to make a different decision every day. If you have this outlook that there isn't, then there isn't. It doesn't even just hinder you from recognising, it attracts less, because if you're not going the way you want to go, you're not going to these doors aren't going to keep opening for you. And then if you don't notice them, you can't carry on. With a negative outlook, you won't even see a way there. But with faith, I promise you, these doors will open. These doors will open. Or sometimes you might even see things that have been there the entire time, and you're like, what? How is this? How have I just missed this? It's because of your perception. It's because of your perception. Another point I have is vision is vital. Vital. Vision is vital. Okay, good little, what's the word? Alliteration there. You know, it's quite cool. But having a vision is the key, okay? It's having a reason behind every action you take. So like I said with the journey, if you don't know where you're going, you don't even know what's positive and negative. You could be given an opportunity that could help you so much, because you don't know where you want to go. You don't even know. You didn't even notice it. You didn't even understand how much of a big impact this has. Or if you don't educate yourself on the person you want to be and who you want to become, again, you're not going to recognise these opportunities, and nothing's going to change for you. Nothing's going to change for you. You're just going to be stuck if you're stuck with these same thoughts over and over again, that's why you're getting the same results. That's why you're getting the same physical over and over and over again, because you are only noticing doors which you've been stuck in before, because it's familiar. You know, how will you get there if you don't even know where there is? What do you think's going to happen? Live with intention. Live with intention. Some people think that something's just going to fall out the sky for them, or one day something's just going to change. Just going to change. But even if something does just change, if you're still stuck in the same perspective you have, and the same mental mindset, and the same, you're going to produce the same results. You're not going to be able to even keep it. You're not even going to be able to keep this thing that you've just acquired, because you aren't the person who should have it. You have to become that person mentally first. And that's how you get these physicals, and that's how you keep it. It won't work out if you're not tending towards a specific vision. Some people live life just to get by or to not be judged by others, but they don't know where they're going. That's what the mistake is. You don't know what you're trying to achieve. I understand, like, try things out, do new things, but if you just find what keeps you ticking, ask yourself questions. What do I want to look like? What do I want to do? What wakes me up in the morning? What keeps your inner clock ticking? What aspects of your life do you focus on? What aspects makes you happier? Do you prefer being more financially abundant? Do you prefer being more social? Do you prefer having more time to yourself? Do you prefer having a lovely home? You know, there's so many things you can work towards. There are so many accomplishments you can make in your life, but you have to know where you're going. You have to know where you're going. It doesn't just work. It doesn't just come. You're just gonna wake up and one day it's gonna happen. If you become that person, is that not so much greater anyway? If you just become the person you want to be, because you will get the results you want to get. If you mentally check in there first, if you mentally tick all these boxes, you know, be specific on where you want to go in every aspect of your life. Be specific of your attitude, be specific on how you want to react to people and qualities you don't want to have anymore. You need to make space for the person you want to become. You can't just mash it all together, who you are now and all these things you want to be. You're going to have to make space. Get rid of the old. Get rid of the old, in with the new. If there's habits or things that you're doing that you know you shouldn't be doing, or you know that isn't going to get you where you need to go, you need to cut it out. You need to cut it out, because once you kind of cut it out, that's when all that new comes in. That's when you make the space for the things you want to acquire. Or you make the space and then you go, okay, well now I've got I've got the time. Now I've got the attitude. Now I've got the facilities I need. Because if you're doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing, or you know it doesn't align with who you want to be, you're hindering yourself in ways that you don't even know. You're not attracting the right people. You're not attracting the right opportunities. You're not giving yourself enough time to do these things that you want to do. The only person this affects is you. What can you do about it? Discover this. Discover this. It may take time, okay? These questions, I feel like that's what panicked me the most. I didn't know the answer to the questions, but once you start experiencing and exploring and just doing things, and just if you know you don't want to do something, or you know you shouldn't be doing, there's like a habit or something that you're like, I need to cut this out. Cut it out, and I promise you, new things will come in. New opportunities will come in, and then you can go, oh, I like this. Oh, I want to move towards this. I think my advice to you is answer all these questions. Really dissect who you want to become. And if the answers change, the answers change. That's the whole point. That's the whole journey. You've just got to keep going. The answers are going to change. Times change. Things change. Even something daily. You'll feel so much more achieved if you just do one thing daily to push you towards a better tomorrow. With that logic, if you do something daily that ups your performance, you will get where you want to go, because every day will be better. Every tomorrow will be a better tomorrow. And that's what gets you in control. It's all little steps. And also be proud of yourself for the things you do and the things that you've achieved. And even little things, just say, yes, like this is what I wanted to do today. Just try new things every day, because if you do try something and then you don't like it, you go, oh, actually, I don't want this to be my new goal anymore. Good that you've tried it, isn't it? Because what about if someone actually did give you this thing, this opportunity, and then it just fell on your lap, and then you have to spend the rest of your life doing something that you don't even want to do because you didn't try. You didn't try. Okay, everything starts somewhere. Don't be ashamed of yourself for being a beginner or being at the beginning of something or not being good, because that's how you get good. That's how you know. You have to explore and learn. Every day is a new day to do that. Do something that will wake you up in the morning and you can go, I'm going to do everything I love today. And I'm going to sustain myself with that as well. You know, you want freedom. You don't want money. Everyone thinks they want money. You don't want money. You want freedom. You want the ability to do what you love every day. And you have that ability. You have that ability. You want a purpose. You want a reason to get up in the morning. And people think it's money because it's like, oh, well, you can do whatever you want. You're probably going to be less pushed towards doing what you love. You're probably going to feel less accomplished if it just fell from the sky. So be grateful of the fact you've got to grow. Sustain yourself and be full of love. Be full of love. Work on something. Work on something. Work on your house. Work on your relationships. Work on your job. Work on yourself. Work on a project. do something every day that makes you proud to be you. You show off and be like, this is me, this is who I am. Do what you love all day long. Like I said, we are creators. That is what gets us going. Everything's a creation. Everything, every concept is a creation. Every idea is a creation. Everything you do is a creation. So just create something. Create more than you consume. It's all well and good me saying all this, and I really hope you've enjoyed, and I hope that this has made sense, and I hope that something has hit you a bit today, but it's all well and good me saying this. It's the application. It's what you take from this. It's what you do with this information. You know, I feel like I used to get stuck in a point where I love self-help videos. I love them. And I've watched them, and it is productive. It is very productive. If you want to make a change, this is the start. It is very productive. However, the actual application is what makes a difference. You can study something for years. You can study to cook for 2 years, okay? If you cooked for a week, you'd probably learn more just by the application of doing it, okay? So if you just apply this to yourself, live with intention, stay aware, stay patient, and be true to you. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope it made sense. If you have anything you want me to talk about, please let me know, because I love this. I literally do this with myself all day, and I just really, really, really wanted to share these points because I hope it's a wake-up call. I hope it makes you have a better tomorrow, genuinely. I appreciate you so much for listening. I hope tomorrow is a better day, every day, and I hope that you've learned something from this. Stay patient, have faith, and just be true to you. But yeah, thank you so much.